Welcome to Interactive Chat Volume 11. Hope everyone's had a great week so far. I'll be honest with you, I almost canceled this show just for today because I'm freaking exhausted from my new job. But the Meta Showcase took place yesterday, and I've got a lot of thoughts on it and a lot of things I want to talk about. And I'll be honest, I was speaking to a VR dev yesterday, and they, for lack of a better word, inspired me to scrape myself off the floor and continue with the show today. So you know who you are. Thank you for inspiring me to go on tonight. Man, we got a lot to talk about. Some clues that I noticed from the show that I thought really we need to be looking at and kind of break down. So I've got a whole list of stuff. I've been taking notes since last night and have a lot that I want to discuss. And of course, this is interactive chat. So I want to say hello to you, Blue Jew, the Underground Game Cat, Elite Name Squad in the house. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for jumping in so quickly. What is up, Underground Game Cat? Speaking of Elite Name Squad in the house, all the elites are here and ready. So I've got a lot of thoughts, as well as a lot of stuff I've been paying attention to that's been going on in the VR world, and want to share those with you. Want to talk about those with you. What's up, GC13, JT Money, Cerebral Frost, all of you guys. So good. The Boop Cat, now with more boopables. Want to talk about this news and whatnot, the exciting news, the exciting announcements, what it means for VR, what my thoughts are on it, and also, whatever you guys want to talk about as well, and just have some fun. I really don't care at this point. I'm so tired. Before we get into the Meta Showcase and I break it down, different things, what I think and what I know, House of the Dead got its PS4 announcement, and they said that after the release, they're going to be adding move support. Now, Jamie Feltham over at Upload VR reached out and asked them about VR support, and they said, of course, we have no plans at this time, which is understandable. But I just want to say the fact that they added move support is pretty cool. I'll still be picking it up, but I think you guys do not give up hope yet. I think we should all still be hopeful that it makes its way to probably all platforms. If I were them, I'd be wanting to sell on as many platforms as possible. And there's no reason to stop. I don't even think I saw PS5 support. So it would be really cool to get a PS5 version, PSVR 2 version. I think they should do a Quest 2 version as well. All of the things. Oh, we got a donation from Nihilus Ryan, the game feline. Says, keep it metal, not meta. Well, let me tell you, man. I think there's a lot of... So anyways, that concludes the House of the Dead discussion, really, for now. We need to make sure we're vocal about it. We need to make sure that we let them know there's demand, that there's an entire VR market that would die for House of the Dead in VR. And let's face it, a lot of us, our age group, our demographic that grew up playing House of the Dead or enjoyed House of the Dead is the perfect target, I think, for a VR version of that game. I think a lot of people that are into VR, I think it's a wonderful fit. And Rush of Blood was amazing. And yeah, I see a lot more people pouring in here, man. What is up, JT Money? Udabomb, yo. Udabomb. Serial Killer, the original Peeps only game cat. Peeps! Thank you so much for stopping by, Serial Killer. I know it's kind of late, but this is all I can do for now. Salvador, guys, by the way, shout out to you, Salvador, who bought some of the merch. He got his beanies. I haven't even gotten the beanies. Congratulations to Salvador for being the first person, as far as I know, that has received his merchandise. He said the blue one is really cool. So he was excited about both. He shared me some pictures. They look great. I'm super excited to get mine. Like, it's not fair that I haven't gotten mine yet, but it is what it is. He probably ordered express shipping. So streamlabs.com/PSVR underground if you want to grab something. Again, his recommendation is the blue beanie. There's other stuff on there as well. What up, Aceville? Happy Purrs Day to you. Great job. Thank you for that was my favorite part, Aceville, was you being on the showcase, the episode with the showcase and everything. I always love seeing you up there, dude, and I hope we get to meet again one day like we did at the Game Cat meetup. That was a lot of fun. Niles Ryan says, just port House of the Dead Overkill to VR and I'll be happy, camper. Yeah, I'll take any of them, really. I'd prefer Overkill or this remake of 1 and 2 because they're a little bit longer. I have all of the House of the Deads, by the way, that are available on PlayStation. But yeah, so I will definitely be adding these to my collection. I will play it with the Move controllers and everything. So thoughts on the show yesterday. Here's the thing, man. It's been kind of quiet on the VR front lately. And, you know, really my thoughts right now are that Meta and Sony, they really have the burden of bringing VR to the mainstream, to making it more popular, to getting more headsets on people. The PC crowd will always be there and will hopefully continue growing. But these guys, Meta and Sony, especially Sony, have the power to introduce VR into, you know, everybody with a console in their house, or, you know, that's a huge, huge market share that they can tap into and get people converted. And the thing about yesterday's showcase was that, you know, it's been taking a very long time for Sony to kind of market VR. I would say properly, but they haven't really. They've done things here and there. You know, a lot of people tried VR for the first time because of PSVR, because the accessibility of having it through the PlayStation 4. At the time, it was the cheapest, most accessible option. And now the technology is evolving. And then Meta comes along, releases the Quest. It's wireless, it's cheaper, and people really like that. And I think both have their advantages and disadvantages. Of course, I do like a lot of things about what both sides are doing, and I really think it's important that both of them continue to push it. And right now, Meta is doing all of the heavy lifting. PSVR kind of helped put VR on the map, on a lot of people's radar, because, you know, you're tapping into 110,000, a million people that now are more familiar with what VR is. And then you've got Meta, who's making an even more accessible device that can cater to younger audiences, kind of having a social audience as well. You know, people like me, I've always loved PSVR because I'm not necessarily, and I'm sure like a lot of you, have not always been the most like social gamer. I haven't always been into multiplayer games. I've always like single player story driven campaigns and things like that. And, you know, RPGs and worlds to get lost in and get immersed in. And, you know, video games as a whole, they've always been immersive to me because the fact that I can get immersed in a game like Bloodborne, be immersed in that world and not have the extra immersion that VR adds, shows you that these games can still be immersive. And you've heard Sony talk a lot about, you know, adding a lot of features to what they did with the PS5 in making it more immersive. Stuff like the adaptive triggers, haptic feedback, those beautiful, beautiful features, as well as less loading screens that don't take you out of the game for a long time. What is up, Solo? What is up, Stevie Dan? Good to see you guys. So I think it's really important what they're both kind of doing. And right now, I'm really, really happy about the showcase yesterday because I think VR as a whole needs excitement. And it was up until yesterday, It's been a little dead. It's been a little on the quiet front. And people need to not, we need to make sure that people don't forget about VR. VR has to have some kind of healthy growth, constantly. It doesn't have to, of course, the dream is that just everybody overnight, or VR becomes an overnight success. Every household has one. And that's, of course, the goal, but we have to be patient in order to get there. It's not going to just happen overnight. I think this organic growth, and support from these companies and developers, everything together has to work together in order to have a healthy growth. And as long as it's growing, it has a bright future. And last night's showcase, or yesterday's showcase, is a great example of just a healthy growth. Now, I'll be honest with you. As amazing as that show was for VR users, I don't know how I feel about it. I think it will definitely, it attracted a couple more people, a couple, maybe large amounts of people. Hopefully, I hope so. But I'm not entirely sure. It certainly wasn't like a take over the world by storm. It was a huge deal to a limited amount of people. And I'll take it, man. We need any kind of positive movement where we can get it. And that was a great example. So, really, what I'm trying to say here is hats off to Meta for doing that showcase. Nothing but games. I mean, it was, it's a good showcase when it flies by, and like before you even know it, it was over, and it was a good solid 30 minutes. I like that more than any state of play I've seen from Sony. It was all VR focused. It was all, you knew it was VR focused. That's all they focused on. That's all they showcased. They didn't really beat around the bush with like different things. They did a little extra chatter, but it was mostly just games, reason to be excited, things to look forward to. And I think those are important. Not only showcasing the games that you have on the platform, but like when you show something that's coming in the future, it keeps that excitement. It builds that hype, that anticipation, and it holds people's hype for a long time because they have something to look forward to. With what Sony has been doing, they've been just kind of pattering out these little spatters of pattering out spatters. What am I talking about? I'm really tired. If I didn't make that clear, I am exhausted. I scraped myself off the floor to do this today. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here, man. It means a lot that you turned out. But they've been drip feeding us, and the truth is that I do think Sony has some amazing shit that they are sitting on, that they're waiting. They are taking their time. They're dragging their feet a little bit. But I do hope they improve their marketing in the future. That's still a big question mark, because they haven't come out and done like this is the PSVR 2 event. This is all focused on PSVR 2 and just for VR players. And look, if you're not into VR, then you need to come check this show out, and it'll convince you why. But anyways, Meta is also carrying a lot of the weight and doing a great job. Hopefully Sony takes a page out of their book and on how to market it. And I think PSVR 2 will be a lot more marketable. So let's talk about some of the games, because that's what we're here for. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. Among Us VR was originally announced at I think it was the Game Awards, right? Where they showed Among Us VR. And when they did this announcement, it said Meta Quest and PlayStation VR. Now, here's the interesting thing. Something I noticed yesterday is that when they did this announcement yesterday, they kind of changed their wording a little bit, and it's raised an eyebrow from me. And I want to see what you guys think, or at least tell you what I saw and what I think. They say a new Among Us VR teaser trailer. This is from Shell Games, by the way, the developers who made I Expect You to Die, fantastic game. They also made Until You Fall, which is a fantastic game. They dropped post-launch support on Until You Fall, mind you, though. So keep that in mind when we read this. But they say the game will be available on MetaQuest and Steam VR at launch this 2022 holiday season. It will be available on PlayStation VR 2 when the headset is released. Wishlist the game now. So, to be honest with you, while I think they originally intended with the original announcement that this would come to PlayStation VR 1, I actually think, guys, now I could be wrong. I actually kind of hope I'm wrong. Well, shit. It actually says PlayStation VR on the bottom there. Is this an old teaser or is this a new one? No, this is a new one. It does say PlayStation VR, but it does raise suspicion to me that because they said that they didn't say the game will be out on Quest and they said the game will be out on Quest and Steam VR this holiday 2022 season. But they didn't say it will also be on PlayStation VR. So there's kind of some conflicting messages here. And I wouldn't be surprised if given that they've dropped support for DLC with Until You Fall, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if they maybe change their focus to PlayStation VR 2 as well, being that from what we know from leaks and different things, it seems like PlayStation VR 2 is going to be out Q1 2023. So at the end of the day, it is just a couple more months. I'd still like it to come to us because it'd be cool, but GC13 says, I'm not conflicted, AJ. They better port it to PSVR 2 or there will be torches and pitchforks. Yeah, well, I think there's no doubt about them porting it to PlayStation VR 2. I think the question I have is, are they going to bring it to PSVR 1? We've also seen other games like Ultra Wings who announced that they were going to bring their game to PlayStation VR 1, cancel it. But I'm going to say, guys, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but if I was, I'm going to say we need to expect this to be canceled. I could be wrong. I don't think I am wrong here. I think this is going to be canceled on PlayStation VR 1 and instead is going to come out as a launch title for PlayStation VR 2. And the way they even say this, they say it will be available on PlayStation VR 2 when the headset is released. I mean, I love Sony, man, but that just tells you that like even they can't say anything. You know, everybody's hands are tied in what they can say. And yeah, so it just kind of tells you the state of everything. Now, until Sony comes out and does a showcase, which I'm not expecting anytime soon. I could be wrong about that as well. I haven't heard anything yet. But yeah, man. Dan Keeper says, I'm cooking. What are you cooking? And did you bring enough for us? All Yours History says, AJ sounding sus right now. Well, Shell Games is being sus, man. Let's point the fingers at them. I love Shell Games. They make great games. They're a great developing team. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they drop PlayStation VR 1 support. So just a heads up on that before you expect it to come out on the PlayStation Store. I feel like there's a reason that they're wording it this way. And, you know, some people were saying, why wouldn't they just come out and say that it's no longer being developed for PlayStation VR? Because that would just stir up more bad juju with Sony. And so it's probably a better PR business decision for them to just say, to just kind of sweep it under the rug and be like, no, it's coming to PlayStation VR 2. What are you talking about? So just something to keep an eye out on there. So the next game, by the way, Among Us does look great. It is developed by Inner Sloth, Robot Teddy, and Shell Games. It will be, and it will support 8 players, up to 8 players, which is cool. And then Shell also has 3 more titles over the next 2 years that they are developing. Now, 1 or 2 of these, maybe all of them, could be Meta exclusive. But I have a feeling that not all of them are going to be exclusive, if any. It does sound like at least one or two of them will be, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some multi-platform games. But they've had a lot of success on Quest, and so I don't blame them for sticking with them. Their games I don't think do as well on PlayStation VR, although they're great games. I don't think they do well. I mean, they obviously have a good relationship with Sony. They tried to give everybody after the fall, Until You Fall. Sorry, I knew that was going to happen. Until You Fall for free. And I don't think anybody bought it. So anyways, let's move on here to the next game, which is something that I thought looked freaking awesome. And that is Bonelab. And the reason I'm bringing this up now, for a couple reasons. So Bonelab's, this is all, by the way, that they showed at the showcase. I don't think a single thing Meta showed was, I mean, no, there was some stuff, but for the most part, a lot of the stuff Meta showed was not Quest 2 footage. I don't know if it was like that Project Cambria, but it's most likely just all PC footage that they showed. So you'd have to imagine a lot of these developers are developing for multi-platforms, and I think that's the smartest thing to do. I think as a VR developer, I think the wisest decision is to develop for multiple platforms because one headset alone just, while yes, they could be viable, they could be sustainable. In the VR world, VR games are expensive and they're twice as hard to make. So they really should be trying to capitalize on everything. I'm actually a big guy on exclusives. I love exclusives, but I'm okay with games not being exclusive right now in order to maximize developer profits. Now, let me see. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. Ben L says, you can't convince me that a game that runs on any Quest can't work. Oh, I didn't say it couldn't work. I definitely think it could and it can work. I just don't know if Shell Games is going to bring it to us. GC says, did Meta make any statements about any of the games being exclusives? And if not, do we know if there are Meta exclusives? There are Meta exclusives. I don't think they said any game was a Meta exclusive because I don't think they are. For the most part, especially when they're showing PC footage. Now, I mean, right then and there should show you that these are not, these are definitely not exclusive. I mean, they're going to be on PC as well. So I think for now, a lot of developers are going to be announcing for PC and Quest. And then once PlayStation VR 2 lifts up the curtain, pulls back the curtain, and, then it's fair game, then I think people will start announcing games for PSVR 2 more freely. But I think a lot of people are going to try to be a big hype launch title. If I were Sony, I certainly would be trying to gather as many games as possible to have on the announcement. But what Meta is doing here is really smart because even if these games are exclusive, they're the ones reaching out to developers and getting to announce these on their platform first. And whether or not they are exclusive, you get mad props. You basically, the announcement feels more special to them because it feels to gamers like, oh, the platform I own, the headset company is announcing these. So like, I don't know, there's a special tie in there. Charles Hardening, Elysia. Yeah, I've got my eye on that as well. So anyways, this Bonelab game, they start out showing you like they have custom characters that you can kind of design. This is from Stress Level 0, by the way, which I'll explain the significance of that in a second. But they have everything in this game from climbing to like wandering around in caves. They've got weapons that they showed. There's platforming. There's melee combat. There's gravity guns. There's a part where he's like diving down a tunnel and there's like traps everywhere. One thing I got from this trailer, I love the art style of this trailer, by the way. And this is going to be kind of like a compact. It's more, everybody knows Stress Level 0 for their kind of like, for Boneworks, obviously. And what people really love about it are the physics, the kind of like, the physical interactions, the VRAF stuff. everything can interact with, and it just feels, it leads to really immersive gameplay. And if you look at games like Swordsman VR and the success Swordsman has had, it's kind of a similar thing. But I noticed from this trailer that there's a couple different modes. There's an arena mode. There's a mods mode, which I don't really know. We don't really know too much about that yet. If that's going to be like a PC mod thing, or if there's actual in-game things that you can modify and mess with. There's a sandbox mode, attack trial, a parkour mode, which personally sounds amazing to me, and then experimental. So it's going to be a lot about just interacting with several different things in this game. And I love the art style. I love the look of it. I love the idea of it. And the reason I'm bringing it up here is because Stress Level Zero has said that prior to this announcement that they plan to bring future projects to PlayStation VR 2 as well. So this is another one, and it's obviously PC footage. This is another one that I think is going to be on PlayStation VR 2 at a later when it comes out as well. I don't know when they said the release date on this was. I kind of missed that. But this is one I definitely am expecting. It'd be cool to get Boneworks as well. I don't know how it's going to age, but what is up, OtterX, the Restless Wandering Game Cat? Good to see you guys, man. Good to see all of you. Thank you. So this is another one that got announced. We kind of knew about this from GDC, but we got the first official gameplay for NFL Pro Era, which I think is actually pretty cool. I'm a big fan of 2MD VR football, and you basically get to be a quarterback. It looks very similar it literally looks like 2MD VR football, except it has like officially licensed stuff with it. But there's a couple key features that I noticed that are kind of cool. I don't know if we have any football fans here. I used to be a football fan. I don't really watch football anymore. But I still like football, and this is something that could get me back into liking football. I know at the very least I would enjoy the hell out of this game because I do like sports, but usually it takes something. I'm hoping this will be something that, like, if you didn't like football before, you play this and now you like football. That's what like NFL Blitz, what Madden games did for me back in the day. I played Madden way before I was like actually watching sports. But what up, Dr. Dance? Yes. Mark Smith says I played NFL Game Day 97. 98 was where it was at. 97 was good, but man, some burn from football peeps. Not really a fan, but open-minded, especially for VR. That's the right attitude to have, Dan Kiefer. Now, whether this, I don't know if this is going to be good or not. It's better than like some coach simulator thing, but there's a couple features that I really liked from this. So you play as the quarterback. It has all 32 official teams. They say you can run the offense, you can choose the plays, and I noticed you can do things like you can quarterback sneak, which I think is pretty cool. Again, this looks like it really kind of similar to Truant Pixel's 2MD VR football, which I really loved. It just has a very indie, basic, blocky look to it. But I think this could be really, really cool, and I hope it turns out well. This is also a potential really good headset seller. This is like one of the games where the hardcore VR players might ignore, but then like people that don't play VR go out and get headsets and buy this game, maybe only play this game. This is kind of like a mini Firewall 0 Hour style game, like a modern military shooter. It's just sports games are extremely popular. And it could have, this is honestly something that it's kind of a necessary evil for VR, which I'm not even going to call it an evil because we don't really know if it's good or bad just yet, but pretty cool stuff overall. So, all right. And then moving on, I think we're at one of the biggest games. They did show like Red Matter 2, which I don't like a lot of puzzle games, but I loved Red Matter, and I would love to see Red Matter 2. However, that did actually look like Quest footage. They didn't say it was exclusive, But I think they are prioritizing the Quest, and so we'll have to wait and see. But I hope we get that as well. We did get Red Matter 1. I don't think it did very well. So that sometimes discourages some developers. But now let's talk about one of the big kahunas that we saw from yesterday's showcase, and that is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. Woo! Let's go. Really, really excited about this. Now they said something about where you'll be taking your winter vacation to. So I don't know if it's like a holiday release window or what. Obviously we just know that it's later this year. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. But Saints and Sinners, I've said it a billion times, I think is one of, if not the best PSVR game, VR games of all time. I think when it came out, it had to go up. I think the only reason people don't say it's the best VR game of all time, not everybody, is because when it came out next to Half-Life Alyx, which had obviously even more hype and excitement around it. And it didn't get overshadowed by Half-Life Alyx. In fact, but I do think maybe it's hard to say it didn't get the praise it deserved, because we all praise the hell out of this game. Everybody loves this game. Even some of the most hardcore PC Master Race people say that this game, that Saints and Sinners 1, did things better than Half-Life Alyx. Yeah, man, I have so much love and respect for this team, and really, really love this game. This game really saved PSVR for me when I needed it most. And it's just an amazing game. Now with this new footage, oh my God, there it is, the chainsaw. Now this is going to be an interesting one, because obviously they've announced it on the Meta Showcase. They haven't really gone into like all the platforms that they're going to be on. Obviously, this is yet again another example of a lot of developers having their hands tied, not being able to talk about it. One thing I do know about Skydance is that they've taken a lot of pride in releasing. Remember what I was talking about earlier about games being multi-platform? This is really Saints and Sinners is really a VR benchmark title for many, many reasons. And I think not just for PSVR, but for all platforms. And they take a lot of pride in releasing everything on every platform and try to do it at the same time as well. That is freaking hard to do. So it'll be really interesting to see. But, I don't think Saints and Sinners would abandon PSVR 1 after all the success that it had on the platform, even at maybe one of its slightly more, I don't know, even if, and it's kind of like when PSVR 1 started to, I think it was right before the Quest 2 came out, so it still had some life in it, and hype around it. But the game did really well on PlayStation VR, and I think that I would not be surprised if this comes to PlayStation VR, Quest, PC, PlayStation VR 2, and just all the platforms. And I would love it to. I'd play the hell out of it on everything I could. Even playing it on the Quest, it's actually, I think it's pretty strikingly similar to the PSVR version. I think both versions, obviously I like the PSVR version because the OLED screens, but the Quest version was surprisingly pretty good. I think it's the best looking Quest 2 game I've played, and it's no surprise from these guys who just they just kill it, man. They everything they have done, with the extra content that they added. I love the Trials mode. I love the extra 5 hours Aftershocks DLC. But yeah, man. So there's a new villain here. It sounds like they're almost putting more emphasis on the whether you choose making decision making stuff. I don't know if they're going to have more emphasis on that, but they're really teasing it that way. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually follow through, or if it's more like Saints and Sinners 1, where they you have a lot of decision making, and like it affects things, but it doesn't like change the entire story. Jack Call, yes, I'm definitely excited about Red Matter 2. But yeah, man, I love everything about this game. If anything, I would just want more environments. I've talked about, being in a city and stuff. I would love to go to a big city. So this is in Louisiana. So it's kind of more like swampy, and they're in the French Quarter. So it's going to have a lot of style and charm to it. What I do like is in this trailer, you see like a bunch of like, it does look a little bit more pretty visually. You've got some nice looking, also not Quest 2 footage. I can tell you that right now. At least I don't think it is, but it looks more like PC footage, which is what I would expect to get with PSVR or PSVR 2, most likely. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of features this comes with, what kind of new weapons. Of course, the number one weapon that I see here is the chainsaw. That's going to be really cool. They give us a little teaser, though. It's such a tease that I'm not happy about. You don't actually see the chainsaw in action. I want to see, you actually like carve zombies up, or is it, I'm curious to see what the animation looks like, because a lot of the animation actually looks better than the first game. The way they move, they have a little bit more like fluidity to them. So it'll be really, really interesting. But yeah, once we get, this is a game I 100% believe is coming to all platforms. And once we get it on PlayStation VR 2, probably going to be a PSVR 2 launch title. I can't wait to use the orbs with this game. So finally, for the last game of the showcase, by the way, how's everybody doing, man? I'm happy to just hang out and talk with you for a second. Rick James, I don't know what y'all are talking about. I see Rick James. I want to see on cam a YouTuber unable to start the chainsaw. Oh, and yeah, and I do think with the survival mechanics of Saints and Sinners, I do think there will be something on the chainsaw that breaks. It might just be the chain that it dulls out and needs to be replaced. But I imagine they're going to have, if you look at the footage, there's a lot of similarities. There's the same health watch, the watch that you use for health, and looking at the clock, making sure the bells don't go off. There's familiar weapons. I saw it's either the third in pain or the fourth in pain. There's a revolver. So I'm really excited about, I think the new weapons are going to be cool. Mark Smith says it'll run out of gas as well. I mean, that would be the practical thing to do, is to maybe it just, maybe it just runs out of gas, or maybe it eventually breaks. Who knows? It might have durability as well as the thing. I would like that personally, because it'd be like a really awesome weapon, but it's harder to use, harder to, sustain using it. So it would be interesting to see how that works. I do think gas is probably an easy one too, but I just, you're going to have to search around for gas. I could see that. That's a good call, Mark Smith. It's a good call. Maybe that actually almost makes more sense when I really think about it. I thought I was a genius for thinking of the chain breaking. Now I'm like, nah, I'm probably an idiot and I'm just overthinking it. It's probably just gas. Gas that just runs out and you have to do it. And yes, Blue Jew, you do need to pick Saints and Sinners back up. Absolutely. It is the best game on PlayStation VR, and No Man's Sky is too. So pick that one up as well. Both of those, I think, are the best games on PSVR, period. But GC13 is enjoying these guesses. Yes. Well, I know you and your team, and you made Die by the Sword. So you're going to make everything as painfully difficult. I wouldn't be surprised if Mage Face jumps out of the wall and starts spamming you with stupid lock-on fireballs, because you guys are evil like that. But that's why I love you. Oil for the chainsaw. Oh man, Jesus Christ! Now we're just going overboard with this. You gotta oil the chainsaw. You gotta sharpen it. You gotta get a new chain. You gotta put gas in it. I mean, that sounds tedious AF. But hey, it could happen. All right, and now this is the final game, guys, that was shown at the showcase. They did show Espire 2 as well, which I don't know how I feel about that. I want Espire to be really good, but they learned a lot. I've talked to those developers. I've interviewed those developers over at Digital Load. They're really great people, and they really do care. And they admitted that they screwed up bad. They are well aware how much they screwed up. I think most developers are aware how much they screw up, and some developers, when they do. Excuse me. Some developers kind of own up to it, and I can respect that. Other developers like try to pretend like nothing's wrong after the fall. Excuse me. I've got like some kind of cough right now. After the fall. Yeah, some developers just really try to like hide their flaws and pretend like nothing's wrong after the fall. Excuse me, man, that is awful. I might have bronchitis or something. I got to be careful. Anyways, but these guys really owned up to their mistakes and said that, yeah, they're new. I think one of their first VR games. But anyways, so the final game that was shown, and this is a super, super important one to me, and that is Ghostbusters. Now, once again, not Quest 2 footage. In fact, looks like Unreal Engine 5, or looks like really good PC footage, even though like looks kind of like early stage development. This is obviously not gameplay as well. This is rendered in engine cinematic footage, just stuff, but it kind of is just supposed to give you the gist of what's going on. Now, the best part is this is being developed by End Dreams. It's 4-player co-op. My dream has come true. And man, I have wanted since day one. I have wanted a Ghostbusters game so bad. Call it fate, call it karma. It's finally happening. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of question marks surrounding whether or not this will be. Steve Irie says I need a patch for that cough. That's great. Yeah, you guys got the joke. You know what's up. That's why I love y'all. But yeah, man. So this is End Dreams and Sony Pictures Virtual Reality. Now here's the thing. There's a couple reasons why I 100% believe this is coming to PlayStation VR 2 as well. I think, again, Meta did a great job of kind of announcing this game, getting the credit for announcing it. I think it strengthens their platform. But this game is probably coming to all platforms as well. It could be, at most, a timed exclusive, but I really don't even think it's going to be that. And let me tell you why. There's a guy who follows me on Twitter, which everyone should do, at PSVR Underground. And his name is Jake Zim. He is the head of global virtual reality at Sony Pictures Entertainment, Sony Pictures Virtual Reality. And I've been following this guy for a while. I think he followed me first, actually. And then I looked at his profile because I was snooping around Twitter, and I said, hey, this guy's following. I should be following him. And so I kind of like found him or whatever. And he looks like he's the world's biggest Ghostbusters fan, which is great. But I think they chose a really great team. I'm getting a picture ready here too. Because I want to show you a little picture that I found, not too long ago. And it is a picture of Mr. Jake Zim at GDC 2022 that just took place recently. And this is, as you guys know, this was when Shuhei Yoshida was wandering around GDC showing developers PSVR 2 Now, let me tell you, why would the head of Sony Pictures Virtual Reality be meeting up with Shuhei at GDC 2022? Which looks like kind of private rooms going on there. I don't know. Maybe it's not private rooms, but they definitely spent some time together and hung out for a little bit, if you know what I mean. And no, not like that. You sickos. No, I fully believe that they were showing off some PSVR 2 to Jake. And the thing is, like I said, man, there's like Sony is doing all the right things. They're developing state of the art tech hardware and delivering it. But it really is kind of baffling to me how behind they are on marketing and messaging. I mean, whenever they show something, we freak out and where we get really excited, but then it's just back to dead silence again. And you have to really, by this point, you have to believe, as much as I didn't want to believe it, you have to believe that they also have their hands tied with the whole supply chain issue situation. They can't show this off, or can't, they're at least limited in how they can show it off until people can get PS5s, because otherwise they're just always going to hear people bitching about, oh, I can't even get a PS5, which it is technically easier than what it was. And hopefully, so the people that aren't really, I wouldn't say reliable sources, or people that really know the market well, but they told me a couple months ago that they think it'll be, I think from the beginning of 2022, they said somewhere between like 6 to 9 months is when they expect the supply chain to start clearing up a little bit. That, everything that has happened was really, really affecting everything. But yeah, man, this being a Sony Pictures virtual reality game, with PlayStation VR 2 on the horizon, I have to think that this will come to PlayStation VR 2 as well. And I love the idea of it. I think a lot of these games we're seeing are actually really early in development. So I wouldn't actually be surprised if some of these games get pushed back until 2023. Don't be surprised if that happens. I know a lot of these games were announced as 2022 titles, but I firmly believe that that they could get pushed back a little bit, and that's perfect for PlayStation VR 2, if so. Some of them, of course, will release on time, though. That's not saying any of them or all of them or anything, but yeah, guys. Let's see here. So that is Jake Zim and Shuhei Yoshida, who's going around showing people the headset at GDC 2022. But man, I'm super excited about this. I'm a big Ghostbusters fan, especially the first. I'm even a fan of the second movie. I like the first two Ghostbusters. I know the second one gets a lot of shit. I don't know why. I think it's still decent. Of course, the first movie is a timeless classic, and it's amazing in every single way. But yeah, I am really, really excited about this, and I hope it's good. And I'm really glad it's in the hands of End Dreams. Now, I'm not expecting a huge game here, at least at launch. I think if it's especially successful, I think they could add on to it some. But I'm not actually expecting like the biggest game ever, because I don't think this game's been in development for very long. Along with aside from a couple of these, I think a lot of these haven't been in development very long, and so I'm not expecting these huge, massive AAA games. Although it would be really cool. I mean, End Dreams has expanded. They've opened new studios, so anything is possible. And it will be very, very interesting to see how much content launches with this game. Right now, we know that you have the meter that you use. You have the proton pack that you use. That it is 4-player co-op, and it does seem like there's like some costumes. Like you see, like there's like a bunny head or something. It does seem like there's like going to be some customization with some of the gear. I don't know how deep that's going to go, and then of course you see the one ghost that they're catching, which is It's a little on the cartoony side, but I'm okay with that. Of course, if I had my way, I would have like a really like scary horror themed Ghostbusters, but obviously, they got to make it accessible to everybody, to kids, to families, and I have zero problem with them going with this kind of art direction. It is also beautiful looking. The color palette and the lighting and everything. Obviously, like I said, not gameplay footage, but it is used in engine, and I bet you this is Unreal Engine 5, and I bet you this is like early Unreal Engine 5 footage too. I think it could look even better. We know that nDreams is partnered with Unreal Engine 5 and that they've got a lot of stuff, but yeah, man. So like I said, once again, to recap from this showcase, I'm really, really excited about Saints and Sinners 2. I'm really, really excited about Ghostbusters. I think those are the two big hitters. But the other games here are no laughing matter as well. This NFL Pro Era could be really good. Red Matter 2 could be really good. Bonelab looks awesome, and of course will capture that younger audience that loves these physics-based games that all they want to do is just punch shit in VR, and like that's great for that crowd. And of course, Among Us, there's a huge install base for Among Us. But yeah, guys, thank you for coming out and showing out tonight. Like I said, I was really exhausted after a long day of work, but I pulled myself together, and just appreciate each and every one of you, man. Thank you for supporting on Patreon. Thank you for just everything, man. And I can't wait to have some more news to talk about soon. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens. There's going to be lots of stuff. What up, Mark? You? But guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the night. This showcase was awesome. I thought it was really, really great. And I think it's a sign that wait until you see what Sony has as well, because I think Sony is going to have an even much, much bigger showcase. And that's no slight against this one. This is exactly what I needed. This is what a lot of gamers needed, was this showcase. But man, they definitely have an opportunity to do something huge, and hopefully not too much longer. But really appreciate all you guys, and I'll see you on Saturday night for Viewers' Choice. Get your picks in, and I will see you there, guys. Thank you so much for coming by Interactive Chat, Volume 11. Peace out.